straight with that.
Yeah, so like
Hey, remember, I'm gonna edit it too, so I'm gonna edit our legs out.
perfect. Yeah, I just don't know if I don't know. I mean, I'm cool wearing shorts, but I don't know if it's
Nah,
perfect.
yeah, I'm gonna edit it so it's just like
Okay, perfect.
right here level.
Okay.
But
Is it good centering? I'm trying to figure out. Alright. Alright, welcome. It's the one and only. It's the council.
yes,
We here, man. Once again, the one and only Jay.
hey,
You know what I'm saying? Jay Wonders. One and only God Johnny. And man, you know, this is a special, man, a special episode. You know, this is a high vibrational episode. I'll put it like that. Whether you know what I'm saying or not when I say high vibrational, I'm basically saying it's a lot of energy that we've been tapping into when it comes to just understanding more with women and dealing with women, talking to women. That's all we do, and learning more. And man, one thing we were just talking about that was so interesting was how I was like, man, you know, there's a lot of guys out there doing videos on female nature.
right,
You know, and this is something that we've been talking about, aspects of female nature. But now you're starting to notice it become more. It's still not mainstream at all. But you know,
it's not a mainstream,
it's not
but
mainstream.
it's a relevant. Is that the name?
Yeah, irrelevant.
Yeah. I don't know why I got lost with that word.
The V and L.
Relevant.
Yeah. Like,
I said whatever I said, but it's a topic that, you know, people and men on the manosphere have been exploding and talking about. And at one point, the whole manosphere, that was something that,
yes.
you know, I caught that in high school.
Okay. Yeah.
So
makes
that,
sense.
and you gotta understand, like, that was what, 2014. You know, who's really looking up this type of information on YouTube? It wasn't that big. It wasn't
that big. It was
you know, not everyone's like, you know how, like, you got the Fresh and Fit podcast, and, you know, you got all these people talking about these type of things, but like, you and I have been hip to these what's it called, form of thoughts, these school of thoughts and stuff like that, and just actually seeing it grow and become what it's unfolding and becoming, I'm kind of like, I don't fuck with it. Like, I don't like it at all, because it's like, I get it. Because I remember when we were learning at a deep level this stuff, it was just like,
it was exclusive.
It was exclusive. It was just like, yo, you would only tap in to learning this because you had genuine curiosity of why things move the way they were moving.
Man, that's interesting.
You get me?
No, like, because back then you had to like find it.
Right.
Now it's coming. You see somebody going viral or doing some
Then,
shit.
like, let me ask you, why'd you look for it? Because you remember, you said you had to find it. So why'd you look for it?
That's interesting.
Because right now, like, say if I was a random kid in high school, right now, in 2022, I just hop on social media and it will be in my face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it will accidentally, I'll probably see a clip.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see that clip when you were researching it.
Nope.
That was non-existent at
There
all.
was
So,
no
like,
mainstream dudes. There was nothing even close to a Kevin Samuels character.
right, exactly.
There was nobody that pierced through the manosphere that got like a decent amount of national attention. It was super. It was
exactly.
dudes.
Nicki Minaj knows about Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, come on. So now we know that the manosphere is on blast. Fresh and Fit done went viral a couple times.
Right.
I remember when they were going through their spat with like some other group, and they were just, it was like low key like being brought up on main channel. So that's when I knew, like, okay, this is starting to leak through and become a little bit more, I don't want to say mainstream, because it's definitely not mainstream, but it's like an underground form of music that used to be amongst the group, and it's starting to slowly get more popularity.
Exactly.
Like, one big artist hopped on it, and now it's getting a little more attention. You see it like, oh, okay, it's starting to...
It's kind of like the Twitter flow, you know, like how Twitter is.
Yeah.
Twitter is like, everyone knows what was posted on Twitter last night.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the topic that everyone was talking about during the weekend.
Facts.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, and that's how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah.
But
People are aware of it now. There's a lot of women that hate it, but
Right.
the only reason why they hate it so much is because you can tell they're new to the concepts.
Exactly.
But the fact that this many women hate it and even are aware of the concept is crazy, because the Manosphere initially was for men. It was a male space, and then there was a few women that were peeking, oh, I see what they're talking about.
Right.
And those were your girls that were kind of thinking out the box.
Yo.
Kind of now, women that don't even want to hear that stuff are having to deal with it.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so much hate, because it's it was never supposed to be a public conversation.
Exactly.
Now every day I go on Twitter, I see some male-female narrative
It was not supposed
argument.
to be a public conversation.
It was never supposed to be public.
Because, well, and you're, you know...
Not to say it's bad that it was. I just mean it never was intentionally.
Right.
Dudes were initially talking, not expecting women to even come across it.
Right.
Or, they knew women weren't gonna like it. It was kind of don't, And it's funny because, which is kind of genius. But see, when people might, I don't know, there's gonna be newer people that don't know what MGTOW is, and there's gonna be listeners that do know what MGTOW is, who've been in the community. And there's gonna be people who don't know what I'm talking about. Either way, that's fine. But when MGTOW came out, that was the initial Manosphere. It was MGTOW for men going their own way, and it was because it was game that I remember I was seeing. Then it was men dealing with women, and then it was men kind of resenting that because they went through that process. It wasn't effective, and then they started going. So then those guys were resentful of it and still weren't getting long-term success.
That's so interesting, because when I came at it, I was trying to learn how to have a beneficial relationship. I was trying to learn how to have a dynamic with a girl. I was trying to learn how to be the best version of myself for whoever I was dealing with at that moment.
Oh, this is deep, bro, because that's how I went into it. That's how I think a lot of us men went into it. Was you saw the pickup community come early. Right. You saw the players kind of talk, and it gave guys this fantasy that there exists this guy out there that's just getting all the women, and he knows something that I don't.
Yeah.
And certain guys rose to the top of the community, taking on that archetype, and all of us were trying to do what they were doing, right? And then it was millions. I'd say millions, because I would say hundreds of thousands, but once the VH1 Pickup Artist show came out, it went mainstream.
That was in MGTOW.
Yeah, that was MGTOW.
None of the perspective was female nature's evil, and
nobody were.
And literally, even the book The Game, when it came out, it was all about how to attract a girl.
Yeah, they studied female nature with the purpose of getting her. So female nature was just finally being studied, but it was studied under the guise of, let me study it to know how to get that woman.
Right.
But what happened is, so that opened Pandora's box in the female nature period. Because guys just wanted to get women, and they saw that they were struggling. So then that community, it went mainstream, similar to how we're noticing now, right? Because that used to be an underground community that began to get more and more attention, and then went mainstream, right? So then here comes resent. People are resentful because it was about
you're manipulating. You're trying to manipulate women to like you.
Exactly. And you had that element, and then you had on the other flip side hitting people from one side. That's why they kept it underground. But then on another level, you had a bunch of guys paying $1,000 for boot camps.
Right.
You had 1,000 guys that were so impressionable, believing that they can get a certain girl, and they all started to experience resentment because guess what? They started to realize that female nature was a lot more dynamic than they realized.
Exactly.
There was a piece that was missing that wasn't allowing them to win. They're like, I'm going out, I'm doing the techniques, it's not working.
Right.
I'm getting the girl, but she's flailing off.
Yeah.
So then the question became so then a lot of those guys was screw this thing.
Right.
And then there was a few guys, so you either had your guys that were oh, that pickup thing sucks. They were already saying screw girls. Then you had the guys that tried it and just it never took it to the level they thought they were going to take it to.
Right.
Still single. Some guys did get women and then got their heart broken. Some guys had babies with women, child support issues, blah, 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 right? So now you have a community of those guys. And those are kind of the first guys to talk about it, was the pickup guys, because they were already used to talking about women nature.
Exactly.
So it just took a turn for, okay, this is the other side of them.
Right.
And then as that started to build, you had a community of guys that were just like square dudes that weren't even doing pickup.
Right.
That was noticing these videos, and then they were joining in. And MGTOW came.
I think those people went left.
They went left.
They just
fucking.
They were like, well, I'm not gonna try to be attractive and do all that. That's too much work. Why I gotta do all that?
Yeah.
Like why can't it just be she likes me and we just. I'm a hardworking man. I'm on my purpose. Why can't a girl just like me? So then it puts them in the position where now they're just bitter.
Yeah, now
they're not trying, so they just stay in that bitter position because they're like, I already see what these group of men are talking about. That's too much. In order for me to sustain a relationship with a woman, and I don't even know that she's gonna even be with me long term, as a guarantee, I don't even want to deal with that.
No, that's huge, man, because we gotta remember, like, pickup, it started getting really technical.
Yeah.
And a lot of people was having a hard time applying some of these things.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of guys that, we gotta realize, the only people that was really getting success out of studying game were people that were really motivated and who kept going and going and going and never stopping and practicing and putting in work. How many people really do that? Like, there's probably like the 10% that studied it. The 90% tried some shit, failed, and said that's
or they got caught up in a relationship.
Or caught up in a relationship. Shit got destroyed. So like that's kind of like so that's kind of like my journey to a degree, not like theirs.
Right.
Mine was when I studied it, like when I finally started studying game, which is a while in. Like I had a lot of success naturally, but like anything we study, I wanted to go in the game like fresh mind state. Let me learn these principles and see if I can become even greater. And I noticed that, like, I'd go out in the field and I would be like, okay, I have great successes at times, but I'd say like, it'd be like one great night, 4 bad nights. Bad nights just meant like nothing really happened. Right. Being rejected, whatever. Leaving with nobody, you know what I'm saying?
I know what
then a good night where I didn't leave with nobody, like after 4 bad nights, it was one good night. Like, nothing happened, I didn't have to go like, I had good responses, and I had that one girl I was talking to all night, pretty girls. And then another night, and then 2 more nights, nothing really happened. One night was a banger up, she came home, blah, blah, blah. Next 3 nights, nothing. Like you would have a high of, oh man, I just messed with this girl last night, blah, blah, blah. And then a week later, you go back to a low, a super low. Like, damn, nobody liked me here. And the funny thing is, you'd be going into the night like, yeah, bro. I remember one of the dudes, we did an episode with him on our old podcast for Good and Fruit, and we were and I remember he was talking about, I went out with him, and we were like, we're ready, like, we're about to game. He saw our podcast, and we went out, and I remember we went in the field, and it was just such a duller experience. I was, it was a successful night. I mean, it was successful in the sense that I had great conversations. Right. But I noticed for him, he was, he didn't have the night he expected, because he was looking at it like, well, I study game. When we talked to him and have, you're supposed to be this expert, quote unquote, but then when you go out in the night, you're getting rejected, your game's not translating. So when I saw that, and now to this day, I don't think he's also complete other shit now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's not talking about game or nothing.
Yeah.
He's completely talking some other shit. And I think that's what happened to everybody for the most part.
Pretty much.
That's how you know when you're real good, because, bro, we've been in this shit.
Right.
Bro, so from the day I studied game, and I can say the same for you. From the day I studied that shit and, like, really was like, bro, I want to know this shit, I have not stopped to this day, and that's why
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's like,
I really haven't.
It's, we might take periods of time where we're not going out every day.
Yeah.
We're learning during those times. We're fucking still.
It's like, because, like, all right, the top 3 things I had made it for myself was like, all right, I gotta learn about women, right? And good or bad, it didn't matter. I gotta learn self-development myself. Then spirituality.
Yeah.
And those three things was like the top things for me.
You picked three great things, bro.
And like that's always been a rotation because spirituality has to do with woman and myself. Myself has to do with woman and spirituality. And spirituality and woman has to do with spirituality and myself.
Absolutely. They all merge together to create the Superman. Real talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, self-improvement includes working out, like all the things that make you like a 1% guy.
Exactly.
Damn, man. Y'all take notes on that, man. Even myself.
Right.
Those three things, self-improvement, learning about women because that's your opposite.
Right.
You know, so that the more you learn about women, the more you're actually learning the other side of things, which makes you really powerful.
Right.
And then learning spirituality. Those are your spiritual principles.
That's it.
Balance.
And it's so funny because it like when I got into it, I was just like, I was young too because I'm looking at
you was young. You're like you was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
So you was probably fucking. I was in college. You was probably in high school.
I just got out.
You just got out of high school, and I was like in the middle of college.
Right.
And I'm like, so where, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Dope times. Like
you were just getting out of. No, you weren't even just getting out of.
Yeah, I was probably like in the middle. I should have been out of college.
Right.
But I was in like the middle of getting out of college.
Yeah.
Like,
but you still had a different college experience while I was in high school.
Yeah.
And you only get 4 years.
Yeah.
So like when I was in it.
Oh yeah, my bad. It was my second college. Like I did college for 3 years, and then when I took that community college to go to like the big state school,
right?
I started learning game during community college. So like my first run in college, where I was really like doing my thing, I wasn't thinking nothing about game. I had just got out of high school, but then when I took a break from college, I had to learn about life. I'm working a job.
And even when you say I had to learn about life, when I took a step back, that's where my head was at when I was in high school. I was like, I need to learn about myself because I'm not getting the reality or the experience I want with number one with women or and I wasn't like, even like people that know me in high school, like I was getting what the girls I wanted or I was attracted to. That wasn't the problem. It more had to do with having a relationship with the girls I was attracted to. And that was my problem because then after a certain point in relationship, after like with any relationship, after sex can only motivate a relationship for so long.
No, you nailed it. Like,
you get me?
I love how you said the issue with having a relationship. Because it was an issue with attracting.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue attracting girls because I was already a natural.
Yeah, that's how I was.
I wasn't a natural where like I got every girl I wanted, but like girls
you
liked me. Yeah, I was solid.
You weren't a loser,
I wasn't the guy that was like, with glasses and like, dang, I don't know how to know. Like, I was chill. All my homies got girls. All my homies got pretty girls. We always was in abundance with women because we were just off that genuine tip. They like my personality. I'm not that tall. I was small. Especially looking back in high school, like, and most girls I've ever dated have been taller than me, bro. Every girl, I think at this point, every girl I've ever dated has been taller than me. Maybe like one or two.
Y'all listen to that out there. Man. Don't tell me height matters that much.
And they never once, and maybe to themselves, maybe at points, they were probably like, dang, he's a little shorter than me. But never once out loud, they ever emphasized like, I wish you were tall. Never. Like they didn't give a fuck. Like anytime they were with me, my mind, my conversation, my stories, my personality would just, that shit would not exist for them.
Sheesh.
Because that was me.
That's good.
And when I got into game, it was so I can add to the game already had naturally.
Yeah.
And it was nothing about I guess, degrading women or bringing them down, or female nature's this and this is why you can't succeed.
Yeah. That wasn't initially. I didn't even know the concept of female nature.
I didn't either.
I was thinking like, men and women are both the same. They're just the cute ones that we approach. So obviously they're gonna have a different frame. But I didn't look past that. It was just like, I guess I gotta do this to get them because they're the ones with the values.
Honestly, all I really looked at, I was just like, okay, what do girls like? Yeah. That's the perspective I came from.
Okay.
And that's the perspective I was studying it from. It was like, what do girls like? When it started to shift on the darker side, is when I got at a different level of understanding on.
There we go, because you can't understand the dark side of female nature unless you deal with women and you end up in a scenario to experience that.
Right.
So with pink up and all of these different things pushing people to deal with women,
right.
Once they dealt with them, they got a reality check.
Right.
Why did she ghost me?
Right.
Why did she never hit me back? Why did she do this to me?
Right.
So now there's more of a demand.
She lied to me.
Yeah.
She cheated on me with, this person, or she did this. And then when say those aspects, or maybe like we're just in a talking stage and she chose this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I would ask those questions.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't seeking those questions first.
Yeah.
Unless I had that experience.
Exactly.
So you get me?
Absolutely.
And then even I knew, say even during school or in general, I already knew why girls was doing what they were doing. Because they were either, just acting like a hoe in that time and they didn't care, and that was just their personality. It wasn't like every girl was a hoe, but I know girls that out loud was like, yeah, this is who I am. And I would, even looking back at it, because when I look at like the mainstream of the, the Manosphere, they're like, all girls are, what's the word? They're all hypergamous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we were just talking about it. If a girl did a show on male nature, it would be very simple, basic. Because guess what? We already know male nature. Male nature has been shoved in our face ever since we were little kids.
Oh yeah.
By our mother.
Oh yeah.
Our family, other girls,
Oh yeah. Guys meeting dogs.
Yeah.
And then there's the nerd archetype. So you always knew the archetype of men, and we follow it pretty well.
Right.
Like a prototype alpha guy in the 90s movie. I saw a 90s movie last night.
Oh,
this movie called Woo. Randomly I seen.
Isn't it? It's weird how it's all changed, right?
It's changed so much. Like the movie had Jada Pinkett Smith in her prime. She was like 27, like 26.
Okay.
And I don't want to go too far off, but it was just funny. And it was like a beta dude. And bro, the whole movie, I swear, is her destroying this dude's life.
Basically.
In the movie. But he's a beta, but his homies are alphas. And it just showed me back then that the archetypes for men were figured out. The woman was more of a mystery because she was really toxic the whole movie, but it never revolved. It was always about him getting her.
Right.
And just to put it in context, the last part of the movie at the end, and I'm going to spoil it for you, so I don't know.
I mean,
it's a 98. It's not a 98. It's a not a highly rated, it's like one of them black, fucking underground.
I know what you mean.
But at the end, bro, he goes through all that shit, messing with this girl. They met up on a date, whatever. He ends up getting his car stolen. He ends up getting punched in the face by her ex. He ends up getting kicked out the club. He ends up getting robbed on his way back from, because he don't got his car now. He gets robbed. All of this shit happens. Finally gets another car that he had back. Whatever. He finally gets a car back.
Right.
And at the very end, he pulls out the car to dance in the middle of the street. And while they're dancing in the middle of the street, this fucking 26-foot truck, this fucking big U-Haul truck thing smashes his fucking car, and they're like, oh fuck. So now he's out of a car. But at the end he's like, man, whatever. And they keep dancing.
Right.
And I'm like, the 90s definitely mystified women because it was all about him trying to get her.
Right.
She's so toxic, but it wasn't about her being toxic. It was about him at the end getting her for that night. We don't know where it went or nothing, but so that's how the 90s painted it. It made women this
Exactly.
It's crazy. So go ahead.
And you know, just even touching on that, like imagine seeing that movie in the 90s.
Oh man, I would have viewed it way differently. Like I would have viewed it like, well, at least he got her.
Right.
You know?
So imagine viewing that movie in the 90s, no YouTube, female nature. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
She's just a girl, I'm just a dude, and she's just a girl, you know, he's a dude, and that's just that character in that movie that's just acting like a bitch, or that's just that guy that we should be like, because at least he's trying, at least he's trying his best.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That shit is actually amazing to me, because the 90s and early 2000s, bro, it was all about getting the girl. I feel like the 80s had a little edge to it, where like when you think of Prince and The Color Purple, there was still that element of like the bad boy that's like, I'm gonna drive off.
There was, because even in the 80s, you know, you had that like the pimp archetype and the hair,
and that goes to what attraction, like when we talk. You
had the like
80s was men being
the Prince and the King kind of archetype, like with Michael Jackson. You know,
like men was looking pretty, even though they was looking real. Because you know, back then I was thinking like, why they look like they were gay back then? Like no shade, but they looked like but they were getting all the women. And you're like, why? Because they were focused on being attractive. Right. It was like, it's about me.
It was about them. They were with the pick, with the hair.
You know what I'm saying? Like they had like feminine. Like ways of carrying themselves, but women loved it because they were masculine, but they were like, it's about me. Like they took the feminine energy, which is something that we talked about a while back. Remember that?
Yeah.
When we talked about tapping into that?
Yeah.
That we're gonna do an episode on that one day. But anyways,
that's interesting.
The 90s and early 2000s, I'm seeing this thing where I'm like, every fucking movie was like, you had a woman that was the object of desire, that the man had to do everything to get. Like there was so many movies that were like, the movie was a victory because he finally got the girl.
Right.
And we're all being conditioned with that, and women are being conditioned with the idea of, oh man, the man that's gonna chase me and make me his.
Right.
So like, that movie clearly showed that they conditioned men to make women the prize. They conditioned us to view women as the prize. Right. Versus,
and you got to do everything in your power in order to get that.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why
it's facts.
MGTOW, and that's why I think men are responding the way they're responding now.
Man,
because like now men are like, hold on, we've been fed this false narrative. We've been fed this false
community. Like it was feeding that narrative that these movies gave. Like,
right. And imagine being 40 years old and you go on YouTube and then men are like, yeah, this is basically the nature of woman. And you never thought of that. You never really sat there and had any concepts or contemplated or, you know, never sat with those thoughts on like, okay, how different is a woman compared to me? Like, what type of things, and I'm not even talking about on the positive spectrum. I'm talking about, because, you know, we can go, the square guy can go on a whole tangent on how women are different than us on a positive note.
Yeah, definitely.
But then if we touch the negative, he doesn't really have any frame of like any framework to work with, because it's like, hold on, I've never really thought about that because I'm a square and I shouldn't be looking at women in that aspect, that the darker side of it. But then if you ask that square, what are some darker frameworks that, you know, men can tap into? You know, men are players. You know, men can do this. Men
impregnating women and
leaving kids. You know, they abuse. They can hit their women, and you know, the list can go on.
Gang violence.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
the man's not paying for
the shooting yesterday was a man. I want to talk about, because when you watch this, it's gonna be a different day.
Right.
But any shooting. Any public shooting is generally a dude. It's very rare you see a mass shooting by a woman.
So interesting.
Men, that is interesting. Men do kind of suck. We know that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
A lot of men. I'm not gonna say men. A lot of men suck.
So I think that since we know that, is like now men majority of men are, I guess, softening up.
Yeah, that's what happened. We're like, damn, we suck. Like, we need to fix ourselves.
So you know, I feel like in general we're all in the process of that. Yeah. Every human's in the process of, and especially the society we live in now. And, you know, just the time we're living in now. We're in this softening, you know, trying to figure ourselves out, trying to, you
every
know,
community.
traumas.
Yeah. Another thing about the movie that was so unique is I was like, oh yeah, like this could never be made today with PC culture, or because like there was a scene in the movie where they end up at his homies don't know that but they end up at a gay club. It's not even a gay club; it's like a trans club. And one of the homies in there is thinking that he's messing with all these girls, so he's like, "Yo, I'm killing the game. I got all the girls with me, man. I got," you know what I'm saying? The guys are like, they didn't know it, they're like, "Hold on, bro, this." Kind of, and then the girl, I don't know if the girl told him, but they put it two and two together, and like his homies out and about. So when he comes back and they realize it, they're like, he's like, "Bro, these girls is loving me, bro. Look at this shit, man. I'm gonna be back, man." And he leaves out there just like, oh my god. And then at the end, like he finds out that they're girls, and he's just like traumatized. He's like, "Oh my god." He's like, "Don't touch me, leave me alone." And they're like, "Come on, bro." And he's like, "No, leave me alone." Like he's like fucked up.
You're right.
So I'm like, you know, you couldn't. It was a different time. Like
it was.
Now it's very much, you could never just like, let's accommodate everybody.
Right.
Let's give everybody a space. A she, him, her, them, they. Like everybody is whatever, you know. And that's really a part of men. And the culture's always been grooming us from the 90s to now, maybe before then, really.
Yeah, really.
But like to be more accommodating as men. So they've been grooming and programming us as men.
Right.
But as we're seeing, you know, like you said, when you came into the community, and we were initially looking to be.
There was nothing negative about it. Yo,
negative.
I promise you, like any kind of video book I would read or anyone that I would recommend at that time that was popping, it was straight positive shit.
Yeah, it was.
Be confident.
Yeah.
Show your best.
Yeah.
Learn how to talk.
Yeah.
Learn how to have conversation.
It was never her fault. It was like, she
never
text you back because you did this wrong.
Right.
Oh, she ghosted you because you did this wrong. Oh, she cheated on you?
Oh, because you
did this
you know,
wrong.
she doing this.
Yeah. Oh, you did that? Oh, she likes another guy?
Right.
Well, bro, you have to do this to make her come back to you. It was never like, it was no thing on her. It was very normal.
Right.
There's some dudes who probably now gonna be like, "Oh, shit used to be like that." Like, yeah, they used to be like that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I know you might not know because there's gonna be people who are born into this manosphere culture.
Right.
And think like, "Oh yeah, men were no." It was nobody was thinking like that. And like you said, the more that people started dealing with women and experiencing negative situations, and then you had your people who already was because they bought the blue pill. They already had negative situations.
Yeah.
And here came this community, MGTOW, men going their own way, and this was the first group of dudes to be like, "Look, bro," and they would shit on PUA dudes. They shit on anybody that's pushing you to talk to women.
And that's already telling you, like, even because you will get to the aspect where, you know, there's some people that are like, "Oh, there's a community about men talking about how to get women and how to have sex with them." And I'm like, first of all, most of you people that think like that, y'all probably in a relationship that there's a male not even trying to be attracted towards you, or there's those men that would say those type of things. Your woman, you're not even attracted to your own woman. You're not even having sex with your own girl. And I appreciated the community because I looked at myself for the first time and I was like, I can make myself attractive. That was always the plus.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me too. Like, man, that's the move. Like, the more I learn this shit, the more irresistible I become a woman.
Right.
Like, that's fire.
Exactly.
You know, like, to me that was so dope because that shit was fun as fuck. You know, you hit the bars and you're like, let me see what I can do.
Right.
Even your fucking 20, you know, I'm my early 20s, my bro. I'm trying to like have my way. I'm trying to have fun. And you notice these things happen. But what's so interesting, because this topic is so interesting because this is how I know that community was birthed from the prior community of like pickup and game.
Right.
People talk because, you know, because people think it just came out from dudes just talking. Like, no.
Nah.
It wasn't.
And that's actually, I just want to highlight, that's the funny part.
Yeah.
What we're seeing now, the red pill, the Manosphere community, you know, all of this, it came from the PUA you hate.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna remind y'all, nobody was looking at this community, because what guy would actually sit there and go on YouTube and fucking search up this shit?
Yeah, nobody's typing.
That's
there was
not
no
cool.
concept for female nature.
Let me tell you, in 2015, 16, 17, was it cool to look up how to get women? If I just went up to a random person and I was just like, yeah, you know, I do research on how to get women, they'll be like,
huh?
Dude, you don't get girls? Like,
exactly.
Okay, bro, like, you really searching, like, you're on some weird shit. I'm like, actually, I'm not on some weird shit, because I be hearing how you talk to girls, and you don't, like, you sound, you have no,
you have no effect, man. And this shit is really deep, because what we begin to realize is that what started off as a community on how to get women, because you had your pickup and then you had your game guys. Like,
right.
You had guys that were just cool, that were trying to like distance themselves from pickup because they kind of knew it was corny. These dudes was probably just adults when the community came.
And I'm not saying there wasn't corny people. There was
there was a lot of corny people. Like, you had a few good people in the community, but then you had your guys that were like, I'm gonna just teach you how to get women. Like, there was guys like that. It's like, oh, the pickup guys are lame, but they're teaching similar principles, but they're gonna come from a frame of like, I'm an actual player.
Exactly.
Like, these dudes, more of the naturals, you know what I mean?
And I would just always take the good.
I was taking shit from everybody. I was like, who the fuck, like, information, right? So, what's so crazy is, the reason why you know that the MGTOW came from that is because when that community came into effect, I think what people started to realize is that the more that they understood female nature, it actually completed the puzzle to the original shit they learned. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, for me personally, the reason, so when I first started seeing these videos and people sharing perspective, it was refreshing for me at the time, because first of all, we're like, oh shit, I didn't even think about judging where they're coming from. Like, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, the first person that's a quote unquote manosphere kind of guy that I ran into that actually made me start thinking different was fucking Patrice O'Neal, the comedian.
Right.
Because I don't know how I ran across his fucking videos. I think I might have been looking up game, because, you know, Patrice had a few videos on like just getting a woman to, like, but he wasn't telling you. He just was, you know, like the Black Phillip show.
He didn't really study the pickup.
Yeah, he didn't say the pickup community, but he had like his little techniques.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
And I seen that shit, and I was going down that rabbit hole, and I was like, the way he views like women is like so unique, but it's so true. Like, I felt this deep truth, but the shit he was saying was so counterintuitive from what people tell you. And that's when I knew like something special was on the brink. And then as more people started to like delve into this, and bro, there's and y'all might not know these names, but like, let me just put a few names that really been on this shit. Tom Likas, he had a show in the early thousands talking about female nature and how men, the real shit. He had a whole radio show. You have Patrice O'Neal, comedian. If you don't know him, he's a comedian that passed away, but he really used to touch on female nature on some, like, in a funny comedic way. So there was people talking, but it was very like mind-blowing information, because these were the few guys that really understood women on a deeper level that wasn't so pretty and nice.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
So then I started noticing, like, damn, why is my game getting better a little bit the more I learned this? Because what it gave me that I liked, and I started to like really, I listened to all of Patrice's shit, and I started running across, because I was like, okay, this is giving me the energy to have more high value.
Right.
Because I felt like, okay, if I see the sides of women that isn't so great, and I notice their nature and their dark side, it gives me more incentive to not really put them on a pedestal.
And I like how you're describing it.
And it began to drop their pedestal slowly, like chipping away at their pedestal. And the more you learn this shit, it really brings their pedestal down. Right. So now, when I do
remember, we've been programmed to have the 90s movies image in our mind. So imagine as a little kid, you have that. You're seeing that on every TV show, every fucking movie, every song. R&B was popping.
So like
90s
to women, like
90s, early 2000s. That was the epitome of music, right? So imagine that's all right here in the subconscious program. how you gonna look at the woman in real life? You know, you gonna put her on that pedestal.
That's facts.
Your dad's doing it. Your grandfather, you know. So then it's like the way you're just describing it. I think that is the perfect, healthy way to come into it, to look at it, because you're going, I'm breaking this illusion now, and I'm building my confidence, because now I'm not making her an idol, or like you said, I'm not putting them as a collective on a pedestal. I'm now making them equal to me.
Exactly.
I'm making them, like, say they're up here, I'm bringing them here.
Yeah.
I'm making them human again.
Absolutely.
Not fucking this super thing.
It's a beautiful thing, because if you study game without the context of female nature, it makes them the prize.
And I think what's so potent about what I just said is because, remember, we're men. We look at women with their body. We're already more sexual than them.
Yeah.
So imagine you want to have sex with this being. Society's telling you to put them on a pedestal.
Absolutely.
And they look amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, you're fucked. You're already conditioned to put them on a pedestal, and they look beautiful. And then you wonder why you can't have an effect on the prettiest girl in school, or that pretty girl you want.
Exactly.
She treats you like you're anything, and you're like, oh, if I could have her. And all that does is make you put you further.
You're going through high school. You're seeing, like, you know, most men are not even peaking in high school. They peak after.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you get me, you kind of going through these stages. You're like, damn.
And it's funny because the real players, like, there was still your P's and out there. Like, he's talking about pushing P.
Right.
That's cool. I mean, but pushing P, like, that shit goes way back. Niggas been pushing P. People been pushing P, meaning like, bro, Snoop, but it used to be reserved for the bad boys. See, the bad boys, the one thing the bad boys had that these dudes ain't have, they already knew female nature naturally. Because Snoop Dogg, we don't love them hoes. They were saying that since 92.
Yeah.
They had shit in their album like, you gotta lick on these biggity balls. And like, they used to treat women like anything, like, but it's because in those environments, they had to deal with female nature on such an extreme level, and they had OGs that put them on this stuff.
Yep. So
it isn't like this is some new age stuff, but the average man, see, they were the rebels of society. So when 50 Cent dropped songs, like, the only place you saw a woman being brought down on a pedestal was like in rap music.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And it was really like hood dudes that was on some like.
And didn't all the girls like those rappers?
Here we go. So like, as it came around full circle now, but why did they? Because they knew female nature. Right. That's why they was able to do it. So now the Muktab community comes as a result of that joint. Boom! Now we know female nature, and it's starting to spread now.
Now it's a topic of conversation.
And here we are now today. So as it started to spread, it was underground, and then it started to get bigger and bigger because I feel like more and more people started contributing to it, but it got demonized. It became, here's the smartest thing though that they did with Muktab that I'll say is dope. They didn't have a leader, and they purposely did that. I remember that was like, that's one of the main things. Everybody was like faceless. There was a few people who showed their face, but like you couldn't pinpoint the leader and like, you know, fuck them over. Right. It was a bunch of anonymous people sharing, so you couldn't really control the narrative.
You're right.
But it was like a lot of people though trying to like wash it down. So you had the Muktab community like basically crapping on anybody trying to talk to women. So then that was kind of the death of that community. Right. Because it started to become a little corny because we was killing that. Right. Then you had the community of people who were saying screw women. But then that began to become corny because dudes started to realize like, bruh, it's not like, what are you not going to get any, like, you're not going to have sex with women, like, you're not going to do shit with women. Right. So like, that wasn't really the answer because how long can you not do that? Exactly. And everybody would try, you know, people would try to be on that, and it's like, the dudes that are the most hardened and try to act like screw women, right? You're at the most difficult, you're the most susceptible to fall in love or to feel more desire for a woman, because the more you isolate yourself from a woman, the warmth of her softness, when you do feel it, is gonna like break you like ice. Because you're so removed from it, that when you feel a real positive feminine essence, it's like you don't even know how to deal with it. So you had a bunch of bitter nerdy, like there was a lot of nerdy dudes talking trash, a lot of, and the Mugtag began to buffer people's inability to take action.
Right.
It became a comfort zone because it wasn't cool dudes talking about it. It was dudes that wasn't getting no action.
Right. So you had a version in the beginning that
Pedestalized.
Yeah.
No, I mean my ass. I'm one of them. What do you call it?
What?
I wanted the spelling bee in 3rd grade, y'all. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did for real. I wanted the spelling bee like in my school.
That's lit.
Yeah, I know I got an award and all that, man. So when it comes to verbiage and whatnot, that's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? Now math, that class will leave that alone. But English was my shit.
But you know, we had a version of that in society. Then we had a version of men going smack at women.
Yeah.
With techniques, with this, and they got corny.
Yeah.
Now we have a version of males that don't.
It's like now
We hate them.
Yeah, we hate them.
We're like, we don't even want to go
They
smack at
do that.
because y'all don't even deserve it.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but
real.
the thing is, I feel like personally,
Man.
I came from a sweet spot, and that sweet spot was like, I understood at the end of the day that I'm not corny,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't fucking hate women,
Yeah.
and I will never. You know, you feel me? Like,
yeah.
come on,
I'm
bro.
just gonna hate the other half. That's like
What am I gonna do here? What am I?
You gonna fuck
Am I
with dudes the
gonna
rest of your
be-
life?
Yeah, am I gonna be here and just no? Fuck no. You feel
Fuck with
me?
myself.
Yeah, I'm
Look,
gonna.
those dudes are 40, 50, 60 years old. I don't want to throw
Nah.
shade on y'all, like,
Nah.
but you know, there's a lot of those dudes in the community.
I'm
that
not about to
have-
be here
Yeah.
just chilling by myself. Like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So instantly, I knew like, all right, bet. I'm coming at this, and I'm studying it as objectively as possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna take what works for me, and I'm gonna use the things that sound good and implement it in my life and see, you know, okay, bet this worked, dang, that worked, these ideas work, and that's how I came at it. And that's all, you know, it was just very neutral and basic. And then when I started to see like the community chemistry and all this stuff, it started to shift.
Yeah.
It started to become something that it wasn't, because let me remind y'all, there wouldn't be a Kevin Samuels if there wasn't a mystery.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't be a Kevin Samuels without a Patrice. Like, because I've seen Kevin Samuels quote Patrice O'Neal stuff.
Right.
Because he was an older dude that got hit to this info just like we did.
Right.
He was 14,
exactly.
15. He wasn't around in 2014.
Exactly.
He came like.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, all these, none of this would exist without the people in the beginning. And the people beginning had a genuine desire for women that didn't come from this negative aspect or this like, oh my God, life is over and I've seen the true side of them and I just don't want to do it. No, they came from like, she bad as shit. Like, I'm gonna talk to her.
That's
You know?
facts, bro.
Like
That's
I
facts.
desire those girls that look like that. I desire, you know, women to be involved in my world constantly, and
That's so dope.
and they all came from either A, the guy that never had that reality, to B, now having that reality. You think they were bitter? Fuck no.
No, facts. Because the one thing I'll say with Patrice and Tom Likas and some of those dudes who y'all might not know, but like the difference between them and the Mugtown dudes, which I think is coming full circle now, is they have women. Like Tom Likas, he tell you like, bro, if you get rich, if you really just tell you brag about his life, like, bro, I can say whatever I want about their nature because I know I'm gonna have a hot girl whenever, because this is what they start to understand. This is big. But the dopest dudes were the ones that understood female nature, could call it out, everything, but they still got women. See, they put both together. You know what I'm saying? They understood female nature and they understood attracting women.
Right.
So Patrice, once you do that, you're fucking dynamic. You're not complaining like a Mugtown dude because you know their nature, but you're still winning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
agree.
Patrice and they would talk about joints, but he has a girlfriend the whole time.
Right.
He would teach his girl about female nature.
Right.
He would talk about, man, this bitch, and she would just sit there and they'd be like, how are you able to call her a bitch and she doesn't trip out?
Right.
This became I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this is deep. It's like, this is the secret to the highest level. You see, they use their knowledge of female nature as their leverage.
Right.
Because when you understand women's dark side, you can explain it to them. They begin to know, like, oh, this nigga gets me. So you're not that dude we talked about in the movie that's letting a woman destroy his life.
Right.
Because the minute she starts destroying your life, like, hold on, like, you're not gonna do that with me. Because I already know what you're about to do, and that's not gonna rock. But they know while they're doing that, they're like, I know women love dominant men. I know women like guys that are attractive or that know what's going on.
Right.
I'm also exhibiting knowledge, wisdom, guidance.
Right.
So by me even understanding female nature, it gives me the space to fucking be the most attractive dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, my fault. I had to restart it, but going back to this topic. Okay, so this is what I had to say. Okay. There's something that I noticed, in my own studies of this. And I don't know, how you're experiencing it, but this is how I'm personally experiencing it. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to realize that for me, it's about learning the woman's nature. Because remember, at one point, it was forbidden to talk about women a certain way because they were this perfect princess. And then at one point, we were going smack. And the more smack men went, the more of their true nature, because of course how time is going, social media is coming out, everything's becoming more open. I would call it more just, I guess the word is just free. Like you can be gay, you can be trans, you can be this, you can now have an OnlyFans page, social media,
judgment.
No judgment. So I'm like, it got into this point, and the more we kept going smack, the more we kept seeing the truth of exactly how they respond. So if we're coming for the first time and going, okay, this is how they actually are, and then we're like, all right, bet. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna test it, and you're like, holy shit, this is actually how they are. This is actually what they want. Yeah. I feel like now we're at the point where we're sitting here, and it's either A, do you be bitter about it?
Yeah.
Or B, do you use the information to keep winning?
Yeah. Boom.
And
boom.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, like, female nature is not bad if you know about it. But that's not how men take it in the manosphere. Female nature is bad in the manosphere because of how they do take it.
Yeah, and what's so interesting with that is like, you're like, it's bad because of how they take it, and also like, it sucks for a lot of these dudes because they found out after getting burnt.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And going back to, I'm gonna add this. Female nature is not bad if you know about it.
If you know about it, yep.
Female nature is bad to most men in the manosphere because they do know about it now. Or female nature is quote unquote bad or evil when you don't know about it.
Yeah.
So then that leaves another, I feel like there's another version of what you can be. You could be the man that goes, all right, it's not bad, it's not evil, it's because I didn't know about the nature. I didn't have any clue that I was supposed to see them in this light. But now that I understand that they're in this light, I kind of look at it like if I was a girl growing up, if all my mom, my aunts, my cousins were telling me, watch out for men as a woman, that's a light or an angle that I have been taught, say if I was a girl, since a young age, but does that stop every woman from getting the man they want? And the answer is no, because they will still go for the man they want, even though they were programmed at a young age to be careful of men. So imagine we were programmed at a young age to be aware of women, which we were not at all. So that's why I'm saying this is such a new discovery for the majority, the collective of consciousness of men till this day. 2022, whatever date that we post this. So I'm saying, what if all of us as a collective of men, it was flipped? We were like, all right, bro, all of us men knew we just had to watch out for a woman. And our dads told us, and everyone embedded it in us, like just how like they did it with women. We will come up here and we're like, you know what? I don't care, like I'm gonna still go smack out women. Mm-hmm. Even though everyone warned me about a woman, just like everyone warned their daughters about all the men. When you get older, you better be careful. Don't let men do this. Don't let them treat you like this. This is not supposed to respect you. So they did that program to women, but they didn't do that program to boys. But say if it flipped, would all y'all kind of sit there and just be like, well, I'm older now. I don't want to deal with them because I already got a warning when I was young. But that's not the case because girls don't want to do that now. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's not that, like I said, the information is bad because girls have the same information too. The girls have the information of, all right, guys gonna want to have sex with.
That's where you get all these bitter women that like, it's so innocent because you're right. It's like both men and women. You got the types of women and men that are like, oh, men screwed me over, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And screw them, and that's where you see this battle of women hating
right.
dude. Then you got the ones that are like, I get the nature, but...
Right. Like, okay, you'll get the women that be like, I get the nature, but that's that guy.
Yeah, but I still want a man.
I still want a man.
I get the nature, but I still want a man.
They'll be like this, you just chose the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm really... Alright, so... It's... Going back to it, what I was saying is basically like, the girls will look at each other and be like, well, that man is a piece of shit, or that guy is a great guy, that guy, you know, is a player, that guy, you know, will be honest with you, that guy will be monogamous, that one likes to have multiple, you know, girls will do that, obviously, because that's just how the dynamic of women think. Yeah, they'll be like, that's the guy you should marry because he acts like that. That guy, girl, he look like trouble. I know he's fine, but there's, you know, look at the abundance he got. So what they're really saying is, hey, I recognize his nature. There's guys that not gonna really tap into it, and there's guys that are gonna tap into it in a potent way that, girl, you can't handle. You gonna get your heart broken. So when I look at it from our point of view, I'm going, that girl, she bad as shit. You not at that level. You don't want to attract that girl because the way she lives her lifestyle, the way she looks, the value she puts on herself is only gonna want the top dogs with money. You can like her, she can fuck with you, you can fuck with her, but at the end of the day, she's gonna, and then this is where the value of learning female nature, she's gonna tap into the hypergamy because of what she likes, because of her archetype, because of what she values. But then say you have like, and I'm not saying like all girls are like this, that like say are religious or not, but say she's a religious version of it. She's very, you know, she dressed modest and all that stuff. Yeah, of course she's still hypergamous. Of course she still has female nature. She's a female. But the thing is, the level of what she's about to do in her reality, in order to have a man, and what she's about to do, the first girl I described, in her reality, to get a man are going to be two different value systems. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about it the same way. I'm like, men are bitter because they're going, the girl I want is not going to act like the girl I don't want. Boom. Same with women.
Same women, facts.
The guy I don't want, I want long term, but the guy I do want, I only want short term because the short term guy is not going to give me what the long term guy is going to give, and the long term guy is not going to give me what the short term guy gives.
Boom.
And I'm looking at it the same way with the females. I'm like, all right, there's this bad joke. I know she's bad. I know she thinks she's bad. I know she's moving a certain way. Mm-hmm. I know she doesn't put emphasis on spirituality. Mm-hmm. She don't put emphasis on, you know, whatever, how she's doing life. If I give her the time of day and I break down her psychology and how she think of life, she's only chasing high value man. She's only gonna get the best.
Yeah.
So am I gonna be stupid enough to be like, all right, I'm gonna break this girl down, and she only gonna be for me? That's too much work.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other girls that would be pressed to be with a dude like me because I am the best option for them.
See, that's powerful, because that mind frame you just said is what would allow you to not be bitter.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
Because that means if all girls were like this, then why does the dude that's in the Amish community,
why does he have 5 wives and shit?
Thank you.
Yeah. Like, everybody isn't on this time. It's just a frame. It's just a certain kind of girl. It's a certain kind of thing. And it's like, no, that's you.
You get what I'm saying?
No, that's huge. And like,
why is a dude that goes to church, have a family, his girl's a square, he a square, and she only like him? She's not going outside her bubble to break her reality. Like,
she has female nature, but she controls it.
Right.
She manages it. You know what I mean? Because he picked a girl that had a different conditioning than that.
Exactly. Not saying she doesn't have the tenant
natures and all. Just like with him, he's a Christian dude in the church all the time. He's still, if he sees a girl walking by with a huge ass that's pretty as hell, he's still gonna feel that temptation. Male nature is gonna kick in. It is just like if she sees a fly ass dude with all this swag, she's gonna be like, what? This dude's attractive.
Yes.
But it's gonna be managed a certain way because she's conditioned.
Exactly.
Just like how he's conditioned. He was conditioning. Oh no, I don't do that with women, so I'm staying in my box. Like a Russell Wilson with Sierra type of archetype.
Yep, exactly.
Like we wrote, oh, he's a square, he's a this. But bro, no, Sierra did it right. Let's not hate, y'all.
Right.
Like, you might not like his archetype, but that's when dudes start being on some straight hate and shit.
So who actually won? Sierra or Russell?
They both won.
I think
Sierra won.
Sierra won. In my opinion, Sierra won.
Sierra won for sure. I meant like in his, in his mind,
right?
Won, but I could say,
but you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because she said
she got game.
No, she didn't say this, but I'm picturing like she was like, dang, all this time I've been this character Sierra. I just been chasing the bad boys, and all I wanted from the bad boys is the long term archetype. What he brings, the family, the kids, the marriage. Chose Future, 50 Cent, etc. All these other, top dogs. Those archetypes are not about to be cuffing material like the way
ain't married right now. It wasn't married.
Right, exactly.
Now.
So then guess what? She gonna get someone that is a top dog that is more
conditioned differently.
Yes. He's out loud, his whole archetype, the way he looks, the way his mannerisms is, screams marriage material.
Yeah, definitely.
You get me?
Definitely.
It don't scream. If you look at Future and him, those are two different characters. You got a rapper.
Both of them have value.
Both of them have value. Exactly.
Two different archetypes of value.
And then I guess it clicked for her. Like, why am I going for these archetypes, all these rappers, when I could just go for this archetype, and I'm not gonna even have a problem with what? His male nature, because he doesn't even want to tap into that like Future or these rappers do.
Yeah.
So I'll be thinking about the same shit when I look at women. I'm like, hold on. And this is not to say you better get an ugly girl.
Yeah.
There's plenty of beautiful women right now that are married and they only down for the man. Not saying they don't get tempted, just like I do. You know, anybody does. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying
nobody's perfect, but
right. Can you be able to see?
Can you guide her? Like, is she open to learn? That's what it's about. You don't you don't find a girl that's this perfect girl.
Right.
You make the perfect girl for you. Meaning,
right.
A woman's gonna be a woman who she is. The perfect woman for you is gonna be the one willing to learn enough to accommodate you how you want to be accommodated. And care enough to be like, all right, I'll sacrifice some of these ways that I think because so I can be the person that you need me to be. So you're looking for a woman that's moldable,
right?
If you're a man that's supposed to be guiding her,
100%. What do you think? Girls are looking for the same thing too? Definitely. Because say you catch that same dude when he was in his teenage to 20 years, and then you catch him at 40 years old. Don't you think maybe his version at 40 years old is not tapping to his male nature if she met him at 40 versus if she met him at 20?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I got all these rules of thumbs that are like, you know, I use like rule of thumbs. Like, but no, that's right.
You get what I'm saying?
Everybody, I can't put everybody in a box.
Right.
So the reason why I say that just now is because I'm like, there are women, you know, I'd say like a woman actually wants a guy to lead, so she will be with a guy like that. But after a while, you know, the attraction might fall because. But I'm like, you know, because you know she's running the show. But I'm like, hold on, bro. That's one element. But on another level, you know how many women I see in happy relationships running their dude? They're not cheating.
Right. They're not right.
They're not out here being, exactly. But they run the show and they have a dude that's okay with that and they're happy together. Like every dude isn't meant to be an alpha in their relationship.
Right.
Every dude isn't the one. Some dudes are comfortable. Some dudes really love a girl that takes charge. I know dudes personally that like alpha girls because it's like it's almost like they see in their girl. I know. I'm like yeah. But like,
but that's real.
That's their girl. What they don't have.
They've never said their girl cheated yet.
They're not complaining about like I have homies whose girls where I'm like, bro, she can never talk to me like that, or she could never do
exactly.
Like that. But
exactly,
he's not with the girl now because that's a different story. Because of, you know, but you get to go back with her in a second though.
Exactly.
So my whole point is these girls are smart. If I was to talk to girls and women, I would tell a woman like, yo, look for a dude. Like you're looking for the wrong kind of dudes.
Right.
You're looking too much for the attractive dude, that seductive dude. You need to be finding a dude that's balanced and that's attractive enough, you know? And something that I wanted to say that was interesting that you made me think about while we was talking is I realized like women already went through the male nature stage during feminism.
Right, exactly.
See, feminism in the 70s is when women started learning all the nature of men.
I didn't even think about it.
And built the resentment, you know, and that's where it birthed. And it started to peak, you know, it carried to the 90s and thousands. And that was when every woman from their mother, their grandmother from the 70s.
So the flip side of the coin is truly MGTOW.
Is MGTOW. Because this men's right manosphere movement is actually the response to the feminist movement. Feminist movement is when women begin to understand about male nature, male dominance, and we're going to these wars. I'm not getting the same money they are. Right. At first, they were just like, "What do you mean? Like we don't get the same money? We're like men work, we do this.
You're right.
What do you mean? You get married? Like there's no having sex with other people. You know, like our word was bond, and then there was these gate people that open the doors for women, like these what do you call it,
the gatekeepers.
Not gatekeepers, but the I don't know what you call them, the ones that like wake them up, you know. There were these you know, philosophers for women, and now we're like men do this, men, and we're just, you know, and they're like, oh wow, I can work, huh?
People,
oh wow, I could have sex with other guys. Like I don't have to just have sex with one dude.
Right.
Oh, and then it kept going and going, and now it's like, what do you mean? Like I can be a slut. Like what is a slut? Oh wait, I can like women. Oh, guys are like, I can like guys. So now it's like the archetypes that the traditional man set up under the male modality, because all of these women in non-man type of dudes, like if you're lesbian, the gay people didn't have a space. And everybody started to rebel against man, and expose male's nature, and that became the thing. Like everyone's like, screw the man, like the man's holding and like we're just getting shat on. So now every dude's trying to fix themselves up. You know, that was the next generation. Like, let me be a good dude because like I don't want to. You know, it's just like. And now what you're gonna see is women are gonna start doing that. It's slowly.
That's fire. I didn't.
Yeah, men slowly.
That's the way we just broke that down. That's good.
Yeah,
that's fire.
Yeah. That feminist movement, it wasn't overnight. Like there was some dudes that it was one dude at a time trying to get softer and teach
exactly.
And that's how it is now. There's gonna be women that are kind of like, okay, women are on some shit. Let me alter these behaviors because You know,
like, is it about being a slut? Is it about hoeing around? Is it about me just being butt ass naked on the internet?
Yeah.
Like, hold on, I want to be a mom now.
Yeah.
Was I really like?
Yeah. And then
Was that really the right mindset? I get like I could see a woman going, I get what I was trying to do. I was trying to be free from that male nature, that dominant. I don't have my own life. But
you think
did I come at me? Yeah. Did I come at it in a traumatic, like I was in pain, and did I come at it from a negative point of view?
Yeah.
And then the older they get, they're like, maybe I understood what I was feeling emotionally, but I didn't handle it maturely. And I see what you're saying, and I get that. I get that. That's the concept I get, and I'm seeing the same thing because it's like, not every girl wants to be a fucking hoe.
Yeah, you know. And as much as I'm a guy who's gonna, let guys know, female nature, Jay knows I got my rule of thumbs. There's a, I think there's a hoe in all of us.
And and that's what I'm saying. Everything is, I get the nature aspect.
Yeah, it's the nature. We can't let the nature drown the ability to think.
Okay, so one thing I like that I just seen or just heard from Robert Greene is he said, and I was telling you this earlier, he said that if we were truly only like just dominated by our animalistic side, then that would have rulership over everything.
Exactly.
But really, we're dominated by the psychological side of ourselves. And if you are hip to anything, that's how programming starts. That's how fucking mind control starts. That's how spirits talk. That's we're getting deep. So when you get into those deeper realms, you understand it's a metaphysical world. Like it's really a mental world. So if we're conscious human beings, are we really that dominated by our animalistic nature? No, we're influenced by it, but we're not dominated by it. So we're actually dominated by the psychological stuff.
Man, that's so dope. Because I'm like, that's real. Because like, we have a nature, meaning like, okay, I gotta take a piss, right?
Right.
But I know, like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and like, I'm gonna do it a certain way.
An animal can't do that.
Exactly.
An animal can be like, hold on, in 5 minutes. There's no 5 minutes. It's I gotta pee now.
Facts. And you notice the more unconscious we are,
right?
That's what, like, when someone drinks hella lick, you ever see someone so drunk they piss on themselves?
Right, exactly.
Because there's so much out of that state, so they're more tapped into the animal. Or they'll be like, oh the fuck, man! Like you see a drunk dude just wilding out, and they wake up like, what the fuck? With like a black guy, like bro, he was bucking. And it's like that nature, but we're conscious. So like you said, so like that's we all have a nature. You train a dog a certain way, it begins to.
So let me ask you this, or this is an idea that all you men should understand too. If you know game, you know your value. You already find yourself attractive. You already know you have that abundance in you. You meet a woman, you start informing her on her female nature. Aren't you making her more conscious? Beautiful. Versus you just gave the best example. The most unconscious person will piss on himself.
Yeah.
What's the opposite? What's the opposite of that?
Oh man,
a conscious man will go, you know what? I have to pee, but I'm gonna go in like 10 minutes.
Damn, that's real.
So then if I kick game to a girl and I'm trying to make her my girl, or she is my girl already, and I'm kicking game to her, and I'm like, yo, this is how you operate on an unconscious level, and this is called female nature. This is called how your biology works. This is what women as a collective y'all respond to. Y'all respond to dominant men. Y'all respond to more these darker things. If I make her conscious of that, and then there's a moment that she can unconsciously make a bad decision or consciously make a good decision, then I'd rather be the man that first teaches her the knowledge, because she's my girl, because I want to protect to protect our relationship by getting her laced up with game. And now from that moment, once she's laced up, once she gets what's happening, it's her fault if she does X or Z.
Facts.
It's not because they're dominated by their animalistic side. No, she's a psychological human being. I just laced her up, so these ideas should already be popping in her mind when those triggers start getting turned on, unconsciously. She's like, hold on, I'm attracted to them. I'm geeking. Like, we were just talking about this like the other day with my man. Okay.
Boom. So now her nature always links back to you. When those negative nature pieces come, it's one thing if she feels that way and her dude doesn't have a clue.
Right. Now that's what I was saying. That's when the female nature is negative or evil, because guess what? You not hip, she's not hip. Exactly. Boom. So what is gonna happen?
She's gonna act
whatever gets influenced.
Whatever gets influenced. Yeah. No, that's huge, y'all, because now we're seeing, to tie it full circle, now where we are in the manosphere, I think the manosphere right now collectively is in the space where they're hurt and they're stuck at the space of learning female nature,
right?
Which I understand is going to take them time to figure out. It's like when the feminists were just learning how bad guys were, but there has to be the point where you go to the full circle point, which is, all right, I now know male nature, I know female nature, so now I'm gonna educate the women around me about female nature and about male nature.
Yep.
See, that's the thing, you need both pieces. You can't just crap on her female nature and not let her know about male nature. So guys that are just learning female nature, like, you need to know male nature too.
Right.
Like, you need to know that we like the, so you can tell her yeah, that girl, like, okay, this is how you open up the level that we're taking it to. Right. Which is, how does a guy have multiple girlfriends? How does a guy have his woman on point where she's chilling? Or how does a man able to still talk and be with women while still having a girlfriend?
How is he the more dominant one, in a relationship?
Yeah, how's he the one controlling the relationship? Like, when you look at guys doing things at different levels, like, how did he stay in this relationship so long? How come his woman's always so feminine? Why does he have such a great relationship in a day and age where everything's messed up? You know why? Because this is a relationship with a man and a woman that both understand male and female nature.
There we go.
So when she sees him talking to girls and flirting, most women are gonna bug the hell out because they're gonna be insecure based on male nature.
Yep.
She's gonna say, I feel insecurity, but oh wait, we already know this is how men are. Right. So I already know that, we're aware of it, so I know he can handle himself. Vice versa. She feels attracted to somebody like that. And he's like, yeah, I know she feels attracted. I'm not worried.
Right. And
she knows.
And I'm gonna add this too, because obviously all the people are not about to be like, oh, I'm trying to get multiple girlfriends. Yeah. It's not about to happen. You feel me? Like, most guys are just trying to get just one quality that's quality, right? So what I'm saying is, if, like he was saying, if I don't educate on the male side, if I'm like, all right, what makes me in an animalistic nature form attracted to the opposite sex, a lot of other girls gotta, like me.
Yeah.
If my girl don't know that, and I don't know that, that's when arguments start. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Why was she looking at you like that? Why she just like your picture? But say we had a conversation and it was genuine. It wasn't coming from hate. It wasn't coming from like something mischievous or we're about to talk about this because you cheated on me and this is why. No, it's coming from like, hey, yo, imagine you're in a talking stage with a girl and you're just like, hey, name me all the guys you were most attracted to when you were at school or at your job or even the last dude you're talking. Oh, it's this guy. And I'm like, did other girls find him attractive? And she's like, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. Other girls like them. I'll be like, this is game right here, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I'll be like, well, say we move forward and we get deep in a relationship, I want to keep that dynamic where, and again, not all guys are going for multiple women, but say the dynamic is like, you want this girl to be like your main chick. I'll be like, I want to keep that dynamic because if I know I'm still attracted to other girls, I know you're gonna still be attracted to me. Boom. What happens? A scenario where his girl's chilling, she coming back from the bathroom, they're at a bar, and the girl talking to him, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna come in there, the emotions gonna rise up, insecurity, or maybe just the triggers, and then she gonna go, we had that conversation. I'm attracted to my man more today than I was yesterday because of what just happened.
Exactly.
You get me?
Exactly.
And that's some potent stuff because guess what?
It subcommunicates a lot of things.
Yes.
Leadership, knowledge,
pre-selection,
guidance,
yup,
perspective,
dominance,
more knowledge of herself, more knowledge of men in general. So this is now the keys to look, this is the key to the door that everyone hasn't gotten to yet.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, we opened that door. We opened that damn door. And I'm gonna tell you, me and him, bro, we've gone on double dates and both of our girls was on the same page. No, it's good. Like, sit with us talking about fucking deep male-female nature shit. We've had the freedom to have, girls and still go out to a date and still go out and fucking, and that's not everybody's journey, but like the freedom, we have to have a relationship that's so free, open communication, the ability to still, have fun. Like there was never a time where it's like, where you at right now?
Right.
What? Never. Like what? Like, bro, there was never everybody else that I know in my entire social circle for the most part, and that I noticed in the world, family, friends, they all are dealing with, if they're in a relationship, they're dealing with a girl that is on their ass.
Yes.
And he is one of the few people
that's interesting.
That, with myself, where we're like, bro, we never catch no shit. We can be out. We need to be. We're not being neglectful or just out all night. We have communication, so we'll be outside.
I'm out with the Johnny. We're hitting the spot. I'm about to come home, so or I'm gonna hit you up once I'm done.
Exactly.
And they're like, all right, just whatever.
Exactly. Like, and to give y'all context, like everybody's not gonna be at this level, but just to show you how far it can go. I've had nights where I went out, talked to all kinds of women, came home. Talking to my girls, you know what I mean? Letting her know, like, yeah, this girl hollered at me.
Yeah,
this joint. Yeah. When I got one of their Instagrams, here's what she looked like. She's like, oh, she's cute. That's cool. For some guys, they couldn't even fathom having that conversation with their girl. They're like, hold on, what? Like, my girl would, like, beat my ass.
Yeah.
Like, literally do the same, like, my girl would beat my ass.
That would be verbatim.
And they'll think, like, oh, bro, that's just your girl. Like, my girl would do this. Listen, man. Of course, my girl has certain qualities that makes her like, you need to do this.
It is unique. The relationship's unique.
Yeah, it's a special girl. You gotta find a special girl.
It's a special girl. The relationship's unique, but also because we have that communication.
Yeah. It's 50-50 because you need the special girl, but at the same time, no girl is so special that she's letting you do that without you educating her on male female nature.
Exactly.
So you have to have a girl that's receptive to learn, and then that wants to learn, and then the more you give her, now she's dynamic with you being dynamic.
Right.
And now, you're not worried about the same crap. And guess what that does? Once you get to this level, as we're talking about, these are the keys. When you open that door, now you can have a long relationship that lasts.
Exactly.
Now you can have at least, long positive relationships. Even if they fade off, they fade off differently. They don't fade off like, oh my gosh, you hurt me and lied to me.
No.
They're not. You don't have a baby mama that wants to that hates you. You don't have a person that hates you. You know what I mean? Like, so many relationships end so negatively that parties leave so scarred.
Yep.
And it's like, it's all of these lies and secrets and infidelity and on both sides.
Exactly.
That's what you avoid. And so
100%.
When the manosphere finally, when the guys coming through the manosphere now, we're here to tell y'all, and the woman coming through the female sphere, coming through that feminist angle or that teen woman, we're seeing like two sides that are bitter and hurt.
Right.
And then what we're saying is the truth is usually in the middle. meaning women have a fucked up female nature in certain ways,
fucked up,
and men have a fucked up male nature. You can't tell me men don't do fucked up shit.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't, you know. And so, but then they both have positive qualities, right? So if we balance it out, and if you know both natures, now you have the keys that open the door beyond to everybody at the
to
bottom.
Have the relationship you want or you seek for.
Boom.
Seek for and just potential, because then you're just gonna be like, hey, I know this is how girls act, I know this is how guys act. Where do you put your value between this information? Okay, we're either gonna be together or we're not. And that's basically what it comes down to at the end of the day. But going back, at one point, only we had this is how males act, and we didn't have this is how women act.
Exactly.
So when and that's why, guys, I feel like now that's why guys are bitter, because they just had this is how males act, and the woman knew, but we didn't have the this is how women true nature and how they would act if there was, you know, no morals, no rules, no nothing.
Facts. And it's sad in the sense of a lot of dudes. I feel for the guys, you know, like, and I feel for, you know, like, I guess there's a lot of women that have been through some stuff. I don't want to deny women. There's a lot of women that have a lot of trauma dealing with dudes that we have to understand as men. Is like, I know this girl's super bitter and all that, and she's running on a narrative that, like, I don't agree with, right?
Right.
The woman that was celebrating, you know, when Kevin Samuels died and things like that. Like, that's not cool. Like, you know, but then there's the guys that are so bitter they hate women. All women are whores. You can't trust none of this. And the one thing you'll notice about both parties is that they're both single.
Exactly.
Like, the men that are like really on this anti-woman
so
stuff,
what does that tell you about them?
Yeah, they can have sex with women here and there, but they don't have a long-term positive relationship.
They only have one aspect of the coin. They only got one side of the coin.
Same with women, those same feminists, they still sleep with guys. Like, they still go on dates and stuff.
Exactly.
But they just do it from an angle of bitterness, and that's why they don't keep a dude. So whether you're a man or woman watching this, like, this is very, like, real and deep, because you have to merge the two.
Right.
It's like you can't just be all fire and never have water.
Right.
You can't just be all water and never have fire.
You can't just be all male and not have feminine. Yeah. You can't be feminine and not have masculine.
Yeah. You feel me? These dudes that are pro women, that's why they look like such beta white knights, because it's like, bro, you're imbalanced as a dude.
Exactly.
And then the women that are on the oh, women ain't nothing.
No.
You don't really see that many women that they're out there. I'm sure women that are kind of like just on pro man shit, trying to make their man feel, you know.
Exactly.
That's imbalanced too. So once you, the key really for the dudes, know the nature, because at the end of the day, we do need this shit. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
Like, there's still an energy. You need to study masculine energy and feminine energy, because she's the woman, but, you know, you still got to keep those qualities. No matter how understanding she is, you still got to have your game. And that's why we're here. Because even if you teach a woman about male, female nature, and even if you do everything we said, that's the key to open the door.
Right. We didn't say that's the key for the relationship.
Yeah, it's not the key for the relationship. That's the key to open the door to a positive relationship. Now, once you open that door, that's when the game, you need to stand down and have all the tools to manage that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And because she's going to throw tests at you, question these things.
Everything.
But it's going to be a lot better dealing with her because she has these concepts. So that stuff we're going to touch on in future episodes, because 100%. That's a whole nother. But this right here is the key to the gate. You got to know male, female nature, and you want to use it in your favor. That's what I'm saying.
Right, exactly.
I'm not even going to tell you educate her, even though you're going to have to if you want to have a long-term relationship. But we're talking about just off attraction. This is what I tell y'all. Take male and female nature and figure out how to use it to your advantage to get a beautiful woman and keep her.
Exactly.
Understand what men do. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do.
Get a beautiful,
that's your art form.
Get a beautiful woman and keep her based also on how she puts her values, how she perceives life. Yeah. What's her psychological program and what she's gonna agree with. You can have a beautiful woman that won't fuck with nothing you say. That's not gonna work. Like,
it's not gonna work. you can tell her, oh, y'all do this, it's not gonna work.
Again, going back to the female version of it, that's like Sierra going, I want a man that's a husband to me, that's a father to my kids. But look at the men that she chose. Look at their psychological program. Look at the music they make. Look at the message they're putting out.
She gonna teach Future about male nature?
He even made a whole song called Monster because that's exactly what she was doing. And he said, I'm a monster because I'm going back to my old ways because that's not who I was. He said once I fell out of love, that's when he hit Dirty Sprite 2.
Oh man, everything went up then. That was the theme song to the Manosphere. Like that was the beginning of the, but that set that shit off,
So,
man.
These are just ideas. Now she's coming at it like a Russell Westbrook with
Russell Wilson, but
I said Russell Westbrook. I said Russell Westbrook. I meant what's his name?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You know, she got the right guy with the right. She's probably attracted to him physically, and now he got the right psychological program for the reality that she wants to live for herself.
That's facts. And it's funny you said Russell Westbrook because, I mean, he's been with his high school sweetheart, I believe, to this day. You know, like LeBron's been with his high school sweetheart. Like, don't get it twisted. There's couples that get it.
Right.
There's couples that get it. Like, there's dudes that was hit, like, okay, a little bit. Like, these dudes that are in these relationships, even Steph Curry and his wife, and even though I don't know how long it's going to last.
Right.
But, like, these relationships last because both parties are compromising. Once again, the Steph Curry example might not be the best, but it's still a good example. Screw that, because they're together. I mean, even if they were to break up today, they still had a long relationship.
Right.
You gotta salute any dude, bro. I salute any dude that's kept a relationship longer than 10 years.
Right.
Like, longer than 5 years. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Longer than 3 years.
And that's why most men don't have game because they can't. And that's why I think, you know, on just a friendship level, I think that's why what surprises me about you is that your homeboys can't say that.
Yeah.
And they probably had more girlfriends than you and I did.
Facts.
Or they didn't have any.
They definitely had more. Like,
you know,
or I'm thinking of something like, I have a lot of friends.
But you get what I'm saying? I'm saying in general. And then they're the ones struggling the most.
Yeah, that's facts.
Well, you know, and
they got me right here. And I'm sure you got it like that too. Like, we're right here, but you know how it is with the people closest to you. That, you know, they're like, oh yeah, you know. But then you just look and it's crazy. Like, you wonder, like, does it flash in their mind that like this motherfucker might be onto something?
Right.
I'm sure it crossed their mind. I don't know. Maybe it never does. I don't know. But that's why y'all are different. Cause y'all, you know,
so
y'all get it.
Any last words?
So what I would say is, you know, the one thing that I say in my experience, and you know, we have a lot of people in our environment that know we're on some other shit. They can't deny it, but they wanted to at first, and they still want to, but they can't. And my whole point is, the one piece that everybody's missing is that you have to. The main piece that they're missing is that it's about understanding male and female nature. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it. That's the key. If you understand male and female nature and authentically explain your position from that basis to women, they're gonna rock. You're talking to a dude. I talk to women all the time, man.
Right.
And literally, I tell them I got a girlfriend. You know, you're talking to a dude that deals with a woman that knows my whole situation. They don't give a fuck. They'll still kick it. We'll still do things because they understand. Okay, this is a dude that understands our nature. So they have to respect it because there's something, you know, that they're still figuring out.
Yeah.
They can't fully box you in. So my message to you is, don't get stuck at the bitter place. Don't get stuck at the manosphere. Don't get stuck at the white knight. Like, first of all, don't get stuck at the white knight. You know, and don't get stuck in the manosphere of the female nature. But you do got to take your steps. So learn what you need to learn. Like, to this day, I study female nature. To this day, I study aspects of male nature. I still study the dark side of shit. Exactly. It keeps me sharp.
Exactly. But it's not being aware of it and closing your eyes to it.
Yeah.
It's You know,
Yeah,
just be hip.
Yeah, it's like I'm building that now. I'm like, oh, this is another gym bro.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. But
women do the same shit. When
I'm
they
not,
talk to each other.
Yeah, they do the same shit. They're always sharpening up about us, you know.
When they hear like another girl talking about her boyfriend, she's like,
yeah, see, he doing
my
that.
man could probably do that too. So
yeah,
let me write that down mental note.
Fact. And then you got some girls with game teaching other girls.
Right.
Oh, your man doing that?
Oh, sure.
All you gotta do is do this, X, Y, Z.
Boom.
Straighten his ass out.
Exactly.
You know, so like, for me, I would just tell the guys, like, you know what I'm saying, don't get stuck at that level. And the key thing you're going to realize is that, you know, as you go further, a whole new heavenly reality opens up. It's like a door opens up that we didn't even know existed.
Right.
And this is the door that you open that begins to put you on a 1%er path.
Yes.
When it comes to dealing with attraction, woman, everything, because now you're just a man, because nobody can push you off your square. They can't make you, because you know where you stand and you know how you're supposed to move, because you know how male and female nature works together.
Yeah.
And now you're in a position to win and maintain a relationship as a leader, long term. You know what I'm saying? So simple as that. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I would want to say to the guys out there. You know.
And I would say my last piece is like, I feel like that's the one side of the coin, and then mine is the other side, which is once you get past everything you just said, it's all about the spiritual and the mental, psychological part of who that individual you're messing with. Male or female.
Yeah, that's big.
Once you understand that it has all to do with the mind, how they perceive reality. Like they said, you can't change a hoe to a housewife.
Yeah.
Why? When you can just go find a housewife. Why would I try to break down this whole person's reality and go through what they've gone through and the decisions they made and their thought process, like their unconscious mind. Why am I going to go through all of that just to switch her to something I want her to be, when I could just find someone that wants to be something they want to be on purpose, and that it just aligns with me? You feel me? So that's just what, if there's a girl that doesn't want to be submissive, I'm not going to make a girl be submissive.
Facts. Just like you got these dudes out here that are straight wild players,
Exactly.
And it's it'd be an idiot for a goody girl or for a girl to try to make this guy loyal. Like that's or
I want you locked down just to me.
Yeah, he's like, no, this dude. That's fact.
So once you understand the nature aspect of it, then go, okay, this is nature aspect of it. I'm not trying to be naive. And then there's the psychological, the spiritual, the mental world. And then that's what you tap into, because now you're not naive. Now you're tapping into this and you're going, does this person resonate with my way of thinking? Do I resonate with their way of thinking? And, you know, basically it. So that's my last type of tips and information. But
there's two sides of the coin. It's the heads, that's the tails.
Yeah.
Like for real, you know what I'm saying? Like
these are gems. These are gems for I personally think for every man.
Yeah, I love that, man. What you said was so dope, because you know that's dope. Because like look for the, you know, it's not just knowing the nature and having the game.
Right.
It's also the part of looking for that special, unique girl that's receptive.
Exactly.
And that's a whole nother type.
That's a video. That's a whole video.
That's a whole video.
That's why he said these may be the keys to open the door, but then there's other keys. Yeah. There's other doors.
Yeah.
That's, you know, so this is a counsel, man.
Yeah, this is the counsel.
So it's like, if you at this point listening, I'm telling you apply this immediately. Tomorrow, in your reality, in your world, in your life, you're going to get results. You're going to see yourself glow and move, you know, as a male in a more dominant way, a more assertive way. And I've only seen benefits in you know, this level of thinking. And I've also seen growth and learning what I've been doing wrong, because it's still personal development. Only because we say, certain ideas and principles, it's like you're gonna get the same results, because guess what? He got to deal with his upbringing, his program. I got to deal with my upbringing, my program, and there's different stuff in us that, just like you, there's different stuff in you that we gotta break down, and that's the personal development. That's when you're learning about yourself. You're learning, so
definitely, it's the council. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yep.
We got a lot of good content on the way, so make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to check out the email. You can email us any questions that you have.
Yes.
Please, email questions with any consultations you might want to do. You just go to largecouncils@gmail.com. That's largecouncils with an S at the end of council at gmail.com.
Or hit us up on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram is in the link, so you'll see all the information in the link. And leave a comment, man. If you got any questions, man, show some love, man. We building from the ground up, so you already know, man. We're gonna bring more content to y'all. So we appreciate y'all listening, man. It's the council.
Appreciate it.